Welcome back to another edition of Gen XYZ, where we have three generations in the workplace talking about our different perspectives. And this week, we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about a video that has been getting a lot of comments that we posted yesterday. So I'm Pete, I'm the Gen Xer.
I'm Peter, I'm the Millennial. I'm in this video and I don't like it.
Boo. Actually, I'm the Gen Zer.
So, guys, there's a little war going on, I think, right now between who the millennial is, who the Gen Zer is. I mean, this video is 6 years old, and so it says it's a millennial, but I think everyone in the comments is reacting as if it's a Gen Zer. So, Ashley, I think this is at you.
Well, I think it's also going to be directed at you, Pete, because apparently the Gen X parents are getting heat for this as well. So.
Yeah, this guy's clearly a boomer. I mean, I don't know how old he is. I'm thinking he's in his 60s. You're not Gen X if you're in your 60s. So I'm not going to take the heat for this one.
He's a famous actor. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I would guess he's like 70.
I think he's the movie voice guy, like the movie trailer guy. Like when you listen to his voice, that's what I think of. I could be wrong with that, but I think that's who he is.
I've seen him in some stuff, but yeah, this is millennials, the catch-all term for like anyone who's like under, I don't know, say 40. I mean, 40 and under, like including Gen Z. I mean, heck, people are probably like calling 10-year-olds millennials. Like, so anybody who's young is millennial at this point, even though millennials have like kids and are like, have like mortgages and stuff and are like full grown adults. Everyone's like, these young millennial kids.
Well, there's only two generations really. You're either boomer or millennial.
Yeah, that's everyone falls. You're old or young. That's just it means young or old. That's what it means.
But that's kind of real, isn't it? I mean, don't you, like, as you go through your life, you either see yourself as young, and there's a point where you're like, oh, I'm not young anymore. Like, I don't get the jokes. I don't get the, like all the stuff that's going on right now with pop culture, some of the P. Diddy stuff. I'm like, that's Puff Daddy, first of all. I can't, like, where did Diddy come from? Maybe that's when the weirdness started. I don't know. But like, I have zero interest in following that. Are you guys following?
Yeah,
that?
That's. I'm like, I'm young, but I can't, like, I'm not that young. I can't relate to some of the like teenage stuff.
I guess I'd say a lot of Gen Zers are following that stuff, and also that like Nickelodeon documentary. Like, we're just.
Oh yeah, quite on set.
Yeah, like I don't know who those people are. I mean, I care.
I know who they are from like kind of being a kid, but yeah, it's basically like right now I'll see stuff and it's like a YouTuber who's famous. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. Am I supposed to know who that is? They're like, oh my gosh, did you see what this guy said? I'm like, who is that guy?
I say TikTok because it just puts it right in front of us. I didn't know about the whole P. Diddy thing until I opened up TikTok, even with like the Nickelodeon documentary, even with like these YouTubers. TikTok is like what exposes us to what's going on.
Well, and then Taylor Swift, right? Like I told a friend of mine the other day when they were talking about Taylor Swift and like, saying who to vote for, and she was losing followers, this and everyone. Like it was even mentioned, I think, in one of the maybe in the vice presidential debate. I'm like, imagine when I was growing up, if Michael Jackson was like, "This is who you should vote for." No one would have cared who Michael Jackson wanted to vote.
Celebrity endorses something like that happens all the time, and no one cares.
Why do we care now? Do we care? Ashley, this is definitely at you. Do you care who Taylor Swift says to vote for?
I really I don't want to listen to her. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, so I might get heat for this.
Okay. You're the only one.
But
Taylor Swift's a millennial, so but like all the people who listen to her are like tweens and stuff.
It's all about Sabrina Carpenter now. That's the new. I bet you she'll be president 2026 or whatever. People.
All right, you're on video saying that.
I'm more of a Brat Summer type guy. So see, I know young references.
Here we go.
I still am confused by what that meant. But let's get to the video. So some of the comments, right before we start playing this. The sad thing is, this is a mindset of a lot of the upcoming workforce. Okay, so that's the boomer talking, right? These days, this isn't too far from reality. Our current generation, folks, tragic. Apply for evening shift, problem solved. There's a creative person, right? Someone's like, hey, we can actually solve this for you. Okay, this video is clearly satire, but even though TikTok, thanks, said this is not eligible for the For You page because it lacks creativity. It is not an original video. Granted, we did not make this, but we resurfaced it. Apparently, a lot of people haven't seen it. Even I think it blew up like 5 or 6 years ago. But what is cracking me up in the comments is that people are like reacting to it as if this has any hint of reality to it.
Well, it's
Maybe
also funny that people are like, this is, in the original comments 6 years ago, they're like, this is what the new generation's like. And then now 6 years later, they're like, this is what so I wonder if this is just going to be forever. Like it'll be 20 years from now and people will be like, this generation, this is where this is what's happening.
Like one of the comments was, and people think this is satire. Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, look, there's some, any of these cliches, they have some truth to it. I think we can all acknowledge that. How much truth? Well, let's watch and see. I don't know. I don't think there's too much. All right. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Do it.
All right.
Amy, it says you are trained in technology. That's very good. Are you adept at Excel?
No,
PowerPoint?
no,
Publisher?
not really.
Exactly in what area of technology are you proficient?
Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine, Twitter, the big ones.
Okay. So technology.
That dates it.
Right?
She mentioned Vine. Vine mentioned. That's
Vine,
that's
we know it's old. He mentioned publisher. Publisher. Who's using publisher? First of all, that's like this is definitely a video that's a little bit old. But how's she doing so far?
Well, she said technology, so that's super generic to begin with. So I'd say that's on the interviewer being like, what does technology even mean?
I just realized we didn't actually set the stage properly for what this video is, but it's called the Millennial Job Interview, even though we think she's a Gen Zer, right, by today's standards. But she's interviewing with this older guy, and I think the fact she was looking at her phone, would anyone really start an interview if the candidate was looking at their phone in person? Do you think that's realistic?
That's probably one of the ones that maybe, not that obvious because it's supposed to be a joke, but people glancing at their phone, people checking their phone, like that's something I can absolutely see as being a current, like everyone's addicted to their phone nowadays. So
okay, this is where I become the boomer. If someone has their phone out during an interview, it stops immediately. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to continue. Right? There's no way. That's a given. Like there's no. You can't make it. You can't excuse that, can you?
It's weird because I think that assume that the interviewer is even younger. Like as it becomes so normalized that like half the time I won't even notice that people are having a conversation and checking, and I'll have to take a step back and be like, wait a minute, like they're looking at their phone. And it's because like I've almost like glazed over it in my mind because of how ubiquitous it is.
Well, so this now I'm going to sound like the old guy. I guess that's my role here. But even when I've been in meetings with people and they have their phone out, I'm done. I'm ready to end it. I'm not like, I'm a career salesperson for the most part. And when I see that, it's so offensive to me that I can't continue. You don't get that. You don't get to do that. Or was that?
Well, that's like an easy sales 101 type thing, is showing interest and trying to make eye contact and like showing genuine interest in actually actively listening to them, and having your phone out is the easiest way to like undo all that and show that you're not really 100% there.
No, I'm talking about when I'm selling. If I'm talking to a prospect or a client, potential client, there's no way. No one's gonna be. I'm not gonna allow that kind of just lack of professionalism and complete lack of courtesy. There's no way. I'm too old for that. I guess that is proving that
we have like too much self-respect because they're clearly not interested. So why are you gonna just waste your time like that type of thing?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ashley, let's see how she does from here.
I'm surprised you didn't say Facebook.
That's for old people, like my parents.
Okay, so
that's true.
I take exception to that because the data doesn't support that, and we have this conversation internally about whether we should care about posting on Facebook, since our audience, we exist. ZenGig is his whole purpose is to help students and young professionals, right? And are they on Facebook? Ashley, what say you?
I feel like I still see a couple people on there, but still not as much as like my mom and her friends. They're all over Facebook.
And not on TikTok, not on Instagram, or all the above.
They're looking at Facebook Reels. Facebook Reels, not
Okay.
TikTok. It's not Instagram Reels. They're looking at Facebook Reels. So I
They,
feel
they haven't migrated over.
no, I don't think they plan to. That's
I
too
think-
much for them. They won't know how to work TikTok.
It seems like younger people use Facebook. I mean, but they're more like either uploading photos or they'll do like an occasional, they'll check in on stuff. The prolific users, the people who are always posting status, I don't see any young people that are constantly posting status. There's like a few unhinged people that are like always on there, living on there. But by and large, if I go on my Facebook, which is I'm probably, it's, you know, people my age and maybe a little bit younger, I don't see a lot of my age group and younger people posting all the time. The people who are always posting are generally older than me. So I guess I know that's anecdotal, but so I got to think if there's users that are younger, they're probably just creeping. They're not actually active posting.
It's definitely a creeping thing. Like if you're curious to see who in your high school got married or had a kid or people from college, you go to Facebook and then you never go back again unless you want to creep again. But
Well, I heard a term the other, and I hope I get it right. It's like a deep like. Do you know what that is? Am I using that right? Like if you're creeping someone and going through their old pictures and you like something that was posted, like I think they were referring to it as a deep like. I may be getting that completely wrong, but I thought, oh, that's a terrifying thought, isn't it? If you're creeping someone and you're scrolling through,
someone likes your photo from 2 years back, yeah.
Yeah, like my kids, anytime my wife is always like, let me see your phone if they want to show her a picture of someone, or if she's like asked them to look someone up, and they're like terrified to actually hand her the phone by the slim chance that she may actually hit the like button. They're like, no, it's not. I'm not handing this to you.
that's like how I am with my mom. I'm like, don't touch the screen. I'll touch it for you.
Right. It's crazy how protective, but Facebook is still the biggest platform. I do have to get that in there. That the numbers don't lie, right? The data says Facebook's the biggest with most users. Maybe not the right generation, but all right. Let's see if she can turn it around from here.
Well, Amy, when you're working for me, you have to have those kind of research skills because I'll send you things for you to comb through and get the answers and send them to me. So for that, you got to be really good at technology.
For stuff like that, no problem. I'll just ask Siri.
You'll just ask Siri?
You know, Siri, tell me this, Siri, find me that. We're all good at getting you the answers.
Tell Siri, I want you.
Okay. Before we go on to this next part, Siri? Who uses? Does anyone ever use Siri?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever use Siri? I don't get it.
I was like, this was like a commercial for Apple. No, she would say, I'm going to Google that. That would be realistic.
Where would you go, Ashley? You need an answer to a technology question. Where do you turn?
Well, I feel like before I would use Google and now I'm using ChatGPT a little more often, but I don't think I've ever used Siri for anything. Maybe if I was in the car and I was like, hey, Siri, call this person. That's like the only time. But I feel like my mom, she loves Alexa. She loves Siri. She's always asking her stuff. So maybe it's more of like a Gen X thing or a boomer.
So your mom is the one who uses Alexa for more than just a timer or an alarm. That's perfect. That's where I get those updates. I think I send them to spam. I don't get them anymore. But every Friday they'd be like, here's what's new on Alexa. I'm like, well, those things all look great. And I've never used any of them other than.
I think I've used it like a few times to be like, how many teaspoons are in a cup or something like that. But if I ask it like anything complicated, it'll like give me some random. And I'm like, this is useless. I'm just going to like look it up on my phone.
That's so weird. Like it never occurs to me. We have one in the kitchen. I have one in our bedroom, and it never occurs to me that I should ask it. I will type something into my phone to look it up and I'm realizing this as we're talking about it now. All I have to do is ask Alexa. Life would be so much easier.
Yeah, we haven't embraced technology enough.
But Peter, you'd Google it? You wouldn't go to Reddit? I thought you'd say Reddit.
I mean, so nowadays because of, and we can go down a whole thing of how Google is getting worse and worse. But yeah, I'll ask something and then I'll add Reddit to the end of it to get an actual answer. So I use Google to search Reddit.
What do you mean Google is getting worse and worse? I'm like,
All the articles are becoming more and more like bland, and AI with the advent of ChatGPT and everything, people are just writing them, not editing them, not putting any like thought into them. And so you look up something and you just get ad, AI generated
AI
ad.
summary.
Yeah.
Google's giving you an AI summary at the top. They're taking some of our content and doing that. So that's why we notice it so much. And it's a distortion and like an abbreviation of what it actually should be. It's not.
If I want to know, like, I'm in Orlando, best places to eat in Orlando, or like, where can I get a good hamburger? I'm going to have to go to like the Orlando subreddit to get actual people's answers and stuff, rather than like some article that's like a travel website telling me the best 10 places. I don't want that. I want real people's answers and opinions. So that's why.
That is. I've been Googling stuff, and I was like, why does it keep saying AI beta at the top and like giving me this? I'm like asking questions about like antibiotics, and I'm like, do I trust this? Like, I don't know. That's crazy.
No, and the joke was like, oh, what are you going to go to Reddit to find the answer? Like all the Google and SEO people were making fun of that, when in reality, yes, that is where you can go to get actual answers from actual people. And if something is wrong on Reddit, if someone puts out something outlandish, then it'll get buried, right? They'll get criticized for it to an extreme. So Reddit is self-regulating with honesty. I think that's
also, that it's a person's opinion, so you can like judge that. You're like, all right, I'm not gonna, this is some person that's either gonna back it up or not. Like, I can take it with a grain of salt because there's probably 8 different comments. So, I don't have to just trust it.
All right, we're off topic. Let's get back to our Millennial / Gen Z. What do we think she is? Is she more Gen Z, more Millennial?
She's probably Millennial in this video. I mean, it's 6 years ago. So yeah, she's probably a young Millennial.
Definitely a bad Lifetime actress.
You're ready to go at 8 sharp each and every morning.
I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
What you just said.
You don't understand be ready to go?
No. You said 8, right?
Yes.
8 like in the morning 8?
Yes, in the morning.
Yeah. That kind of doesn't work for me. Who gets up at 8?
I do.
I Skype with my French boyfriend in Paris until like 3 in the morning. I don't even get to Starbucks until like 10, where I order my grande chai tea latte, 3 pump skim milk, light water, 2% foam, extra hot, but not too hot. So if it's okay, I work best in the morning at 10:45.
Okay. So many things wrong, obviously, but realistic in any way? What do we think?
That right there seems like the most stereotypical like boomer joke of millennials. They're like, they're getting their white skim lattes at Starbucks instead of working. I'm like, who wrote this?
Well, I will say I'm the guy that goes in and I'm like, I want a large, right? I'm not playing your game where the grande means not
grande means large
or whatever, right? But I hear it. I hear the crazy orders while I'm standing there, and it's over the top.
Again, I blame TikTok, because people will put out these crazy Starbucks, like, this is how you should get your lattes, or this is how I get my latte. And then you want to try it, and then you're in the Starbucks line giving a long order. I blame TikTok. But listen, yeah, we have long orders sometimes.
What's your order, Ashley? What is it?
I'm very plain. This is not the right Gen Zer to ask, because I don't drink a lot of coffee. I literally just get like an acai refresher. But their new apple chai latte is really good.
There you go. Apple chai latte.
Perfect.
I mean, people do. I worked at Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks for 3 years. So like I took these orders, and I know that people like do these types of things, and they even did them when it first came out. But there was just as many old people that wanted like crazy. I'll generalize a little bit. It was generally women that wanted more crazy stuff, because it was always like the old men. They're like black coffee, and that was like all they wanted. But people would come in and they wanted some crazy orders and stuff. But I just think it's like funny that that's the stereotype, is that millennials are the only people that order these like extravagant coffee orders. Nobody else. Nobody. It's just millennials.
Well, this part of the video isn't like the whole coffee part isn't what stuck out to me. It's the fact that she wanted to start her day at 10:45 a.m.
I mean,
I think
me too.
us millennials and Gen Zers, we don't like to, 5 to 9 or 9 to 5s. They stink. But I don't. If I go to work at like 10:45, I mean, if you work from home.
Yeah, I don't think it's look, it's exaggerated, it's over the top, but I've heard some questions asked by candidates over the past couple of years that you never would have heard 20 years ago, right? I think it's not a surprise to anyone. Exaggerated for satire, but Peter, what do you think? How unrealistic is this?
It's the fun, the more the I guess the nugget of truth in this is that younger people have become more comfortable being like, no, I want to, like, they think it's a negotiation as opposed to the job, which is like the job starts at this time and we move on. And they're like, oh, is that flexible? Like that in the past, it was just like, okay, is either you want that or you don't want that. Whereas now it's like, I guess everyone thinks they can just argue about it or negotiate.
I blame work from home for that, because you're working from home. You can just message your manager and be like, hey, I have to go do this. Your manager will be like, yeah, just, make up the time for it later. It's just work from home flexibility now. You have that work-life balance, and we're getting way too used to it. And for those who are going to the office, I don't know how they're doing it.
Well, she said she was up till 3 a.m. So maybe she just wants to work till later in the day. She's more of a night owl. She'll work overnight.
Some of the comments I'm realizing, almost all of the comments rather, are old people basically saying, yeah, this is how it is. Like one of the ones I just read was, what she really means is she'll be ready by noon and can only work until 4 because she wants to beat rush hour. Peter, you'll remember this when we're completely virtual now, but there was a time in the office where we used to start at 8, right? For years, start at 8. That's when we began. Then we pushed it back to 8:30 because people were complaining, and we caved to that. And then it started being where people would come in at 8:30, and for the next hour, we noticed everyone would be like making breakfast in the kitchen. So you'd show up for work and then go make your breakfast. Now, maybe I'm really, really old school. I know some things I am. Not okay. What do you think about that, Ashley?
I mean, how long are they taking to make the breakfast? Like 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. I mean, it was like, but
there were some egregious people that were kind of going like getting your coffee and like microwaving a thing and then eating it like at your desk while you're working. I don't generally care about that, but if you're like taking a long time, then yeah, especially if you're showing up right at 8:30.
I'm not on board with it at all. You don't eat breakfast. You don't go to work and then make and eat breakfast. I can't subscribe to that. I can't put myself in that situation of the companies I work for, where everyone was trying to put their best foot forward and to be the one that stood out. And like that, I can't, like if someone like showed up, started making breakfast and then sat at their desk eating it while everyone else is getting to it, it would have stuck out so badly. And then years go by and suddenly this is like just a thing that's happening. And we addressed it. We're like, if you want to eat breakfast, like show up early and then do it. I don't care if you eat in the office. I do care if like that's your first hour of the day. So I had to play the boomer.
That's like, I'll be the Gen Zer. That could be like their brain fuel. That breakfast sandwich could help them make their first sale of the day.
It could have helped.
The argument is then start earlier.
Yeah, like make it at home. Don't make it at work. Like that's just and so it is going to be weird for people who start off their career working at home and then go to an office, because these trends were already happening. And to me, I just think there's a level of professionalism that should always be expected, and that's not it. Like, I've been on Zoom calls where people are eating across from me. Also, not okay, right? Like, you can't forgive that.
You treat it like you're face to face. It's very weird, and it just shows at the very least poor time management skills, that you're not able to be like, all right, I'm going to need 15 minutes to eat, so I got to wake up 15 minutes earlier or something as simple as that.
Yeah, agreed. All right.
Wow. Amy, I don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Why are you so negative? I can sense your hostilities, and right now I am not feeling very safe. I've been here for over 5 minutes, and the only nice thing you have said to me was nice resume, which I typed all night for this meeting with you. You've given me no guidance, no validation, no encouragement, no supervision. Is there an HR director somewhere?
HR director?
Yes, I need to speak to someone. I may have to take off today.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it because so much truth in that, right? Like that again, exaggerated. However, the validation, the safety, I don't feel safe. I mean, I've actually heard people say that in an environment like this, right? I mean, what, Ashley, come on now.
I mean,
This kind of stuff happens.
I blame the parents of the Gen Zers, the parents that raised the Gen Zers to be like this, or the millennial brother and sister.
You're supposed to be defending your generation here. You're throwing them under the bus.
I'm putting the blame on you guys.
He's deflecting.
I'm deflecting.
It's someone else's fault. You can't help it. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, we don't mind it. It's
Luckily, I don't know people like this too much in real life, so I guess I can insulate myself and say that this isn't a thing. But I know that it is, and I know that people are overly, I guess, sensitive to criticism and confrontation. I hear that too much. Like people are like, "Well, I'm not confrontational," and they're like, I literally just saw something on Reddit and it was like talking about this, basically an argument that they had, and they're like, "Oh, this sucks and it was a bad situation," and they're like, "What should I do?" And the first comment's like, basic social skills, have a conversation. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not confrontational." Like, well, then you're never good. That's like a normal thing that you need to learn, because you need to address, communicate, confront people about things. And maybe that's the trend is now everyone's got to be like, "Oh no, I don't want to make waves. I don't want to do anything."
I feel like also it's the whole reward system that we grew up with. Like, she just found out that she did not get the job. She's not getting her reward. Now she's in panic and she's like, "Why aren't I getting my gold star? Like, or getting any validation?" Again, I blame who raised us.
I love that she thought she had the job, the way she responds. I mean, that to me is a classic right there. So, all right.
Then going to HR to complain.
Go into HR.
Mental health day.
Take the day off. Amy, look at me. You don't work here.
All right. So that's how it ended.
Are you firing me?
Okay, yes.
All right. That was pretty much it. Sorry for Brad Pitt jumping in at the end.
Look at Brad Pitt.
I don't know. It's YouTube.
I gotta see Contact.
So, all right. So to wrap this up, how realistic was this? What do you guys think? Over the top, yes, but a lot of truth to it. So
It was very exaggerated, and I think it was going through all of the stereotypes of a millennial or a Gen Zer at work. Unfortunately, there are some people that might really be like this in real life. A really short few, I hope. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's got like stereotypes start from somewhere, I guess, and so these they got to have like a kernel of truth in them. So there are definitely people that have some, to a lesser degree, that like glancing at their phone or not being able to like wake up on time and being chronically late. All of that stuff is real and definitely prevalent, and I think it's the digital age that's kind of made it that way. So I don't want to be like, oh, every old person complains about young people, because that's also the case. But I think that is definitely, there's some trends and stuff that are exacerbated by social media and digital stuff.
all right, fun video. I'm going to say that everyone has to make their own individual decisions, no matter how you were raised. Right? You can't blame anyone else. I mean, that may have caused some of these tendencies, but when you're in the real world, you got to figure it out. So poor Amy in the video will figure it out eventually, hopefully. Maybe
Oh.
not. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining. If you've been with us this far, we will see you. We're usually over on our job advice channel. This is our work humor channel. We wanted to have a little fun today watching that video together. But catch us over on ZenGig Job Advice or zengig.com. And we'll see you soon.
See you later.